Do you have a strong opinion? Do you feel like where your signature is on the quilt always shows people the way that it's intended to be looked at? Or is it meant to be enjoyed by anyone who looks at it, however they choose to look at it?
Well, for me, when I'm making, I always know what is the top and what is the bottom. But I also think that for the person who's making the purchase, it gives them 4 ways to look at it. So when I price the quilt, I price it times 4.
The census at the height of the Great Depression identified Gee's Bend, Alabama as the poorest place in the United States at the height of the worst economic catastrophe in American history. There is an idea that a lot of people have from these classic photographs that I think is a very stark contrast with the work that you and other people who live in the community are doing today.
For my grandmother, during that time, those women probably only had a 4th grade education, if that. All they knew was that they had to keep warm in the wintertime because they only had one fireplace in the house, or they would freeze to death. So it wasn't about art as much as it was about survival. And to have the fashion world suddenly take interest in our small community was totally unbelievable. I was actually able to be one of the designers on Questlove's jacket, which was another Greg Lauren collaboration. And so when Quest won the award, I'm in my house like jumping up like I've won an award too, because technically, that's how I felt. I'm like, oh my God, I just won an Academy. Because now here we are in this limelight of fashion and designing things like clothing. I mean, we're only used to making quilts. We're not manufacturers, you know. We're not clothes makers by no means, you know. Give us some old rags and we'll do miracles.
I try to go back just like my great-great-grandmother, what they did. They used what they had, so that's how I do. I use what I have. I have all boys, and so I use their jeans or whatever when I, really got into it in the early 2000s. Now that they're grown and gone, I have to use what my friends give me. Thrift stores, someone had sent some material. It was silky-like. And we can make anything out of nothing. But that quilt, she gave me some straps, and I said, ooh, all these, I'm gonna just sew them together. And it's called Lazy Gal. And, but it was a little difficult to make, but it's pretty.
When it gets sewed, it get like they want to fuss and fight. I just take another little piece, like a little white piece, and put in between. Another little piece, put in between, like in a mediator, and they come back together. And that's how I do mine. I look at myself, I have to be my own customer. So if I'm not pleased with something, I don't expect you to be pleased with it. When my parents passed away, it took me a few years to let it sink in. And I can remember getting 15 garbage bags. I came and cleaned the whole house out. I took all of their clothing, took them back, made 21 quilts, gave each one to one of my siblings. So now I'm small little wall hangers. I've started to give the grandchildren a piece of my mother and father. Because if there's any money, it's gone. But the quilts will be here for the next 100 years.
Since it's not just about making a quilt to survive the winter months, the usual tradition that now we've gone into fashion and design, and the fact that the younger generation loves fashion. They love the idea that they can take their artwork and turn it into clothing and now make an income from it and be able to participate in things that other people can't necessarily participate in, or the fact that they're from this little rural area in Wilcox County, Alabama, and can have their work shown in Paris. Can't say that you don't want quilting to become a dying art, and you can't say that the demand on G's Bend is slowing down. We cannot not have a next generation because you guys keep calling us, demanding that we make something. And in order to do that, we need the next generation and the generation after that. So we are moving in the right direction, you guys. And we just appreciate all the support that people like you give us, every day. We don't take anything for granted at this point because we are blessed, and we just love the idea that you love us so much, and you took the time to look at our little community, that sits on the bank of the Alabama River that everybody had forgotten years and years ago, that left us there. And then we end up creating something, out of nothing and turned it into art, and you deemed it art. So, we're just, appreciative, and we're not going to take that for granted. We're going to continue to move to the next generation and the next generation. So, what else can I say?